When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us once again on a radio adventure as we go forth to entertain, inform, and inspire. As always, superior guests have been assembled. I'm looking at them right now. They're smiling. They're ready, as I am. So once again, thanks for joining us. Great shows are ahead, by the way. As we wind up the year, these next 3 months, we have tremendous information. Great guests are going to be here, so stay tuned. As always, courage, bravery, determination are qualities that every real estate professional needs. Our first guest is Jay Shaw. He has those qualities and more. He uses them in the real estate world every day. He is also a Marine and recipient of the Purple Heart. Jay, thank you for your service and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that.
That's a lot of stuff. We could talk for hours about all those things, but let's tell people, first of all, your company is Shaw Real Estate. Let's tell them a little bit about that.
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show, and I'm very proud to have my own brokerage now, and this is something I started recently. I was with Cullen Realty Group, which is a great company, and we listed a lot of land all over the state of Texas, and we also did a lot of transactions right here in the greater Houston area, obviously. And I've spun off into my own brokerage. We're looking for agents, both commercial and residential.
And that is a change. If people remember when you were on, I think about a year ago, you were in the real estate world, making the step to broker. Let's tell people, what was your inspiration there to do that?
That's a great question as well. So I started in this business as an investor buying rental properties. And the first time I sat down with a broker to list a property that I had bought, and he was a Marine as well, a Korean War veteran, and he says, hey, you got some snap in real estate. Why don't you get your license and come work for me? And I said, well, sir, I don't want a real job. But he was right. I ended up kind of hitting my cap and how much I could buy at the time. So I went into his brokerage, cut my teeth in commercial, started making commissions, and now I'm actually being able to be a broker and have a great team under me. I'm able to now circle back to buying investment properties again, and I have one under contract in Dayton right now, a small apartment building.
And when I say courage, bravery, and determination, yes, you have been in the armed service, no doubt. But those really are qualities that I think not just every real estate professional needs, but everybody in life needs, anyone in business, especially in business for yourself. Those are very important qualities and not easy to come by. Give us an idea how you're training in leadership in the Marine Corps and what you've learned and how it's helping you in real estate.
Well, I joke around that when I was in Iraq kicking in doors and negotiating with terrorists and gunfighting, that I wondered if those skills would transfer to the civilian world. And then I found real estate.
Yes. And I'm sure a lot of real estate professionals listening right now say, hey, it's just like that.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like that on our rough days, right? But as we were talking earlier, the challenges that we face in the civilian world are very different from the military. And the military is a very specific environment. However, there's a lot of transferable conditioning and training. And the most important, I think the most helpful thing I could say is that when you have challenges in business and in life, oftentimes the worst part is the fear and anxiety we experience prior to actually taking on that challenge. And we used to say in the Marine Corps, reach down and grab a hold, which means get harden up, get some guts, and get ready and wade in and attack that challenge. And oftentimes these things fall to the wayside much easier than we think they will, especially in today's world with all the data and resources we have at our fingertips.
Well, that's right. There are so many tools available to all real estate professionals. How do you determine which tools you use for different applications as you help people buy and sell real estate?
It depends on how good the internet's working that day. There's a lot of technology, and I tell my agents, leverage technology. Obviously, we need that to serve our clients. I have clients every day who are we're teaching them how to use things like digital signatures and the like. But also, there's technologies that are out there trying to replace us, frankly. And I think the way that we can...
And when you say that, replace the actual human realtor,
Sure.
and people are that is on people's minds.
It is, and especially for new agents starting out, I say if you have a client-focused approach, you'll do well because a computer can't provide the boots-on-the-ground experience to advise a client. They can't provide the service to make the transaction smooth. And I've always said I want to sell someone's property for the highest price in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of stress. And for many people, that stress of buying or selling a home is a big deal. And the more you can lower that through your expertise, the better off you are. And you're differentiated at that point from technology.
And how would you say right now the market is, in your experience, say in the last 2 months, and how do you see it playing out here in the next couple months before the year ends?
The market's been great. It's been strong. Like I said, I'm buying a property right now, a multifamily property, and I think that we're in a good place.
And the way you approach your profession as far as geographically, or how do you do it?
It depends on, I've got a property management company, and that's more geographically restricted than any other vertical. Brokerage, I like my agents to be experts in the area where they work, and the brokerage itself can handle a lot wider area. And then as an investor, it just depends on the deal.
In residential real estate, as far as price points, are there price points that are, say, moving quicker than others, or what are you seeing? And also, how are you advising people that want to sell their properties right now?
So always great marketing and a competitive price. And we see in the data that if you price it competitively, even if you can price it below market value, you'll get all the buyers that are come in and looking at your property. And that's true through any market cycle and any season. And it's just relying on the realtor to look at the data and make some strategic choices to be competitive with your property.
And that's a little bit counterintuitive to someone that doesn't sell their home often. In fact, my son's putting his home on the market in San Antonio, and he's, I want to get top dollar for it. And strategically, it's a good idea, I think, like you're saying, for people listening out there, put your home, let's say it's worth, let's say it's a $500,000 home, you want to get that listed a little bit under that? Is that what?
The only time you get real market value is when you have buyers competing and bidding against themselves. Because if you have one buyer, one seller negotiating, somebody's a winner and somebody's a loser. And that's a theory that people don't kind of get their heads wrapped around. They go, no, I got to list it high and negotiate down to what I want. It's always best to have multiple offers, and the only way to get multiple offers is to put it out on the market competitively.
There you go. How are you advising buyers right now that you're working with? They're ready, let's say they're pre-approved or have cash and they're ready for the marketplace. What are you telling them?
It's a good time to be a buyer, and it's look for, especially in home buying, you got to look for what is going to serve your family the best, and people get excited about the first, second, or third home they buy. I say be patient. There's something better that's going to come down the road, because it's always a process. It's a journey. It's typically we don't buy the first, second, or third house we look at, and then as we go through the process, particularly first-time buyers, they learn a lot more about what they actually want and need in a home, and then look at the data, and the realtor can pull all that data and tell them if it's a good deal or not.
And I mentioned at the introduction, you are a Purple Heart recipient. Give people, if you don't mind, just a bullet point or two about how you earned that Purple Heart.
We call that the Failure to Duck Medal, or the Enemy Marksmanship Badge. But I wasn't shot, thankfully. I was actually tangled with a couple of enemy hand grenades in Fallujah, Iraq in 2004.
Ouch.
Yeah. Lots of little bullets versus one big bullet.
And you made it through that, and that's actually incredible.
Well, thank you very much. It was a long recovery process, and I was unable to stay in the Marine Corps, but turning lemons into lemonade, I was able to make a career out of real estate.
And about how many years ago was that?
So I was wounded in 2004, and I got out in 2006 and came home to Texas in 2007.
There you are. Where are you from originally?
Pasadena.
Right down the road. And Jay, before we close out this segment, let's tell people anything else you want them to know about your company, real estate, or anything else.
Well, we can do it all. We have property management, an investment arm to help people acquire income properties, and of course the brokerage. And I like to train and mentor new agents. So if anyone has questions, they can call or email me.
And they can reach you at
281-546-9237 is my direct number, and jay@shawrealestate.com.
281-546-9237. Once again, to you, Jay, and anyone listening that's has been or is in the armed forces, thank you for your service. We're going to come right back with even more. Stay with us, please. And we march on. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Once again, I am your host, Bill Napick. Our guest is Haley Garcia. She is with Compass, an incredible top-performing real estate professional. Haley, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We heard so much about you. I've read so much about you. It is incredible. Let's tell people, first of all, Haley Garcia, let's tell them about your company, Compass.
Compass. Wow. We are, I would like to think, coming in and taking over the city. Compass arrived on the
Kicking
scene.
in doors and all those
little
things.
bit. Not quite as cool as Jay. However,
you all have some moves.
We do. We do. Compass arrived in Houston November of last year. And I believe this week we crossed over about 180 agents. Whenever clients ask me who is Compass, I kind of explain it. You think of luxury boutique brokerage out of New York City, and you merge with Silicon Valley tech world, and you get Compass. So they really are heavily funded. They're bringing tech. One of our biggest tools that I think is one of the biggest game changers is Compass Concierge. And that is a program where we can go into sellers and basically prepay all of their renovations or make ready to get the property on the market. And as long as we sell the property within 12 months, Compass will prepay the work directly to the vendors.
Let's back up. That sounds unique
Was
and
I talking
interesting.
too fast?
I just want to embellish it.
Yes.
I think that's, let's say that again. I've not heard that. So Compass Concierge, does what?
So I meet with you, Bill, and you're a seller, and you want to sell your property, and you were asking me as the real estate professional, how do I get highest and best value? And my answer is, well, we need to update these countertops, we need to paint your red dining room, and we need to do some mulch and power washing on the outside.
You've seen my house.
And I say, well, Bill, the red dining room is amazing. However, we need to neutralize. And if we do these renovations, we're going to be able to raise your price by, 15, 20%. I assist you in getting bids. We find the best price. We submit it to Compass Concierge. They pay those bids direct to the vendor on your behalf. You sign a listing agreement stating that you understand that as long as we sell the property within 12 months, you will then pay those invoices direct off your settlement statement, but Compass will not charge you any interest or fees in the interim.
Great idea.
Yes.
Give us another distinction. That sounds wonderful.
The rest is really all technology based. So it's our collections, we call it. It's the way that we partner with HAR to do our searches. It's a program we have called Insights, where every week we send our sellers full analytics on everything that's happening with their listings, so they can see, clicked it, mapped it, viewed it. Was it an iPhone? Was it an Android? All of those details. A little bit more in depth than what HAR gives us. So just true technology with a little bit of AI wrapped in, doing some lead gen and all sorts of fancy stuff with the database. Compass just bought Contactually, which is a really large database company that's now merged with our in-house technology. So lots of cool stuff.
I'm thinking this, Haley, isn't it fun to be here right now at this point in time, to be alive? The technology, it's so much fun. It's so interesting. And as interesting as it is, it gives us a little tip of the iceberg to think of what may be in the next 50, 100 plus years. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is. It is. I'm so glad we don't have to flip through the binders of, the 3-ring MLS sheets any longer and find the address.
That and what was it, the key maps?
Right. The key.
Those orange, that might be before your time. But let's tell people also, your approach to real estate, is it geographic? Now, you reside in the Woodlands. Is that where your office is?
Yes. So I have a team, and we have an office in the city at our Compass corporate office, and then we have an office in the Woodlands. I personally am in the Woodlands and am the lead listing broker for the Woodlands side of town. And then I have buyer's agents that help manage the Woodlands market. And then in the Houston area of town, I've got a lead broker that we're going to hear from in a minute, and he manages our portion of the team down inside the city. So I'm in and out of the city quite often because, I like to be a little bit suburbs and a little bit city, but I do run the Woodlands office on a daily basis.
We hear a lot from people in the Woodlands. They always want to know, what's the market like right now? What if I want to sell my house in the Woodlands? What are you telling people?
Well, it depends on how much your house costs, Bill, and that's going to dictate what
Or
my
if they have the red
recommendation
dining
is.
room.
Right now the market in the Woodlands is very price specific. Everything under 500,000 is definitely still a seller's market. You cross over 500,000-600,000, and we definitely move into a buyer's market. The Woodlands has got a little bit of inventory sitting. So, like Jay said before me, it really is about pricing yourself aggressively. I'm kind of that listing broker that prices aggressively, and then we just don't negotiate too much because we need to get the buyers in the door.
And also, as far as core principles of success in your background, you do public speaking, coaching, all those things. Let's tell people about some of the things that that are serving you well now in Compass and in real estate, and also even in prior things that you've done.
Yeah, or life as a whole, right?
Life as a whole.
So I'm a really big believer in coaching. I try to keep a coach in, pretty much every quadrant of life to keep me on the straight and narrow.
How many quadrants of life are there?
I would say there's a good 6 or 7.
I thought there was only 4. That must be my problem.
Well, you got your personal trainer. There's lots of them. But when it comes to business, I am just a really big believer. Not only are the core principles important regarding your value system and the way you choose to build your business and how you show up as an entrepreneur or business owner or a leader in whatever role that you have, but it's really important for me personally to have a business coach to make sure I have the collaboration, which is another thing that Compass brought on the scene. The collaboration that they do as a company and with the agent body is really amazing, because in this market and in this time where we live, it, in my opinion, is all about us pulling together and learning from one another instead of fighting against one another, which kind of leads into all the principles of success, in my opinion. So the business coaching, I have had a coach for, I guess, about 10 years of my career. And I owned a brokerage back then and sold it with his help, and then decided to just basically lead my team. So I've done that and then been a coach now for about 8 years. So I have a business coach certification and a life coach certification. And I'm currently working on a mindset coaching certification. I'm about to launch a new arm of that with some guys out of Denver. So I love it. It's great.
I was going to ask you something else until you said mindset, because the mindset is kind of the beginning of everything, or the way we look at things, the way we react.
It is.
Our disciplines. Let's talk a little bit about that mindset, because, and let's say at the beginning of the day, really the day starts the night before at least. So let's tell us a little word on the mindset of how you approach things and think about those things.
You know what I think is so interesting? I think society tells us that we should always have a positive mindset. And no matter what, you just put yourself in the positive mindset. And the reality of it is that's not reality. If we didn't have negative days or we didn't have things that got us down, we wouldn't really know how to be grateful for the positive things. So in my opinion, having control and awareness of your mindset and simply having strategies within your own personal daily practice of going, okay, maybe my mindset is not where I want it to be. How can I pull it back over and have gratitude for whatever it is you're experiencing in between is a really big game changer. And that shows up in life and business.
Communication. We talked about public speaking, things like that. What are the protocols or things you think about as you communicate with your buyers and sellers, whether it's verbally, whether it's the first time you meet them for a listing presentation, or what do you think about that?
I think when buying and selling real estate specifically, there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of stress involved for the buyer or the seller. This is a large financial decision for them, and those of us who do it every day can sometimes forget that. So for me and my team, we do a really big setting the expectation job, right? So we do how-to videos with what you can expect next. We're in constant communication, and we also set the stage for them. When they become a new client, they know exactly what day of the week we're going to be calling and touching base, and when they're going to receive updates and, reports on things, whatever their scenario may be. But in my opinion, it's all about setting the right expectation, and that doesn't mean saying that we're going to be perfect, because nobody is, but we're going to get through if we hit road bumps along the way, and we're going to give them we're going to give them the, hey, there's a red flag. Here's our strategy to work through it, so there's not going to be any surprises. And open communication and constant communication is very important. So.
And before we close out this segment, let's tell people whatever else you want them to know.
run a great team. We love selling real estate and helping buyers buy, and we love the business coaching world. And we're always willing and able to help any agents, no matter what company they're with. We collaborate a lot with. There's a lot of great companies in Houston, so
Haley,
we're just one of the many.
Haley Garcia, and I'm looking at your card. I like the logo with your letters.
Thank you.
The other thing I was going to ask, why did you choose real estate? Of all the things you can be doing, let's tell people just a quick word on that.
You know, I have always been an entrepreneur at heart. And so I kind of look back when I started selling real estate at the age of 12 or 13, since I've been doing it almost 20 years now. And I think real estate chose me. I am a innately influential person just by way of my personality. And so I think to be able to influence buyers and sellers with a strategy and give them a positive outcome with a large investment makes me happy. So I landed right where I'm supposed to be.
And when people want to reach out to you, Haley, what should they do?
They are welcome to call me on my direct number, 281-701-6174, or check out our website at haleygarciagroup.com.
The number again is
281-701-6174.
281-701-6174. Haley, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Bill.
We're coming right back. Cyber criminals are on the offensive. In real estate, the average loss of a wire fraud scheme is $130,000. How do we fight these risks? Establish a good defense. At Stewart Insurance, we believe there are two sides to a formidable defense. Manage the risk, offset the risk with insurance. Concerned if your insurance is offsetting the cyber risk? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if you are properly insured. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827, 866-798-2827. And here we go. We march on. Our guest is Darren Morris. He, too, is with Compass. Darren, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me back, Bill. I appreciate it.
We welcome you. It was so much fun the last time you were here. We learned so much, and we're changing gears, I think, a little bit at this moment in this segment, because last time you talked a lot about the inside the loop action. So first, let's tell people, since you were here last, maybe a highlight or two, and let's talk about that marketplace again.
Well, I think as a recovering airline pilot, I was thrown into this real estate career, and I really like that I'm on Haley's team. Haley and I are doing some projects now, I think is what you're talking about, where we are collaborating with some builders down in the Heights. And we're going to start, hopefully, get some multi-unit complexes under the works in the Heights. So that's going to be really exciting.
Almost like a theme here for success with each guest so far, and that is when airline pilot, you think systems and procedures are kind of important, right?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. We have those systems in place right now that we use every day. It makes our life a lot easier, and it makes our clients' expectations, like Haley was talking about, they know what to expect after we take them under our wing.
And with Compass, let's talk a little bit. We didn't get to talk about the technology as much, but give us an idea. You did last time about some of the things technology-wise your company is using. Give us an example of that.
Well, one of the things I'm doing these days, if I have an open house, like I did last weekend, I had 5 or 6 people come in to the open house, and I'm able to capture their information and use that information, like their email address. And what I do is put a collection, like Haley was talking about, together, and it's kind of like a Pinterest situation where they can talk back and forth to us through the app, the Compass app that we have. I get a push notification right when they ask a question about a particular property, and we can schedule an appointment to go look at that. So I set up a collection for whoever came in, and if they go through there, I can see what they're looking at, how much time they spent looking at a particular property, and any notes that they put on there. It makes it very easy for that buyer to keep track of what they're looking at, and I get to put my input in there as well.
And the phrase that you said as far as making things easier, as a real estate professional for buyers and sellers, the more you're making things easier in a potentially complex scenario, that helps all the time.
I think technology is going to be, of course, in the forefront for the rest of however long. We have to be careful about making sure that that technology doesn't take the place of direct human interaction. And I think that being on a team such as Haley's team, where we constantly talk about how are we catering to our clients, how are we going to have that one-on-one personal connection, because that's really what separates us apart from, you know, some other companies out there. So we use the technology and we use it a lot, and it's very, very pretty, but we also have to get in front of our clients and have that one-on-one communication.
It also sounds like, as far as you mentioned, being together on a team, the teamwork approaches some people find very helpful, and also for the buyers and sellers. Give us a word on the team and how that functions and how that's helping your buyers and sellers.
I mean, you can imagine me coming from a cockpit not knowing anything about business at all. And then I get my real estate license because I wanted to try something different.
Totally different, right?
Totally different. I knew that I needed to put myself in the middle of someone or a group of people that knew what they were doing. And, you know, if you believe in coincidences or being at the right place at the right time, but I believe it was 3 years ago where Haley and I had breakfast together, and it was a great match. And she's a great coach, and that's what I really appreciate about being on that team. Now, as that relates to my clients, the coaching that I get is just it's irreplaceable, where I'm able to really get into some psychology about how people think. I'm into how I think and how I can better serve my clients. And we go through some pretty intense training, and I like that. That's what I need.
Training is so important. By the way, where did you have breakfast? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, it was the Egg and I at the Woodlands.
Just curious.
Yeah, I
I'm
remember
almost
that
ready
day.
to talk food, but let's talk about the marketplace. Let's revisit where we left off last time, and that is we were inside the loop. I think we were east, or we were talking about the Heights. What's going on in the Heights right now, in your perspective?
The Heights is going to be a hot spot in Houston for a
Hotter than it is?
really long time.
Wow.
If you drive down Shepherd, Durham, you go see all of the new construction that's happening down there. I can't even keep track of how many new restaurants are coming in. It's one a day almost. There's building, there's construction, there's houses being built, there's apartments being built, and I love it. I love all the activity there. It's centrally located, and it's a perfect place for that. And you and I were also talking about East downtown.
East, that's right. So if people can picture where, even people out of the state of Houston that may be listening to the show, if they picture Houston, the center like a bullseye, now we're going to talk about kind of the center east of the center of Houston, right?
It's directly east of downtown. You know, we're talking 2, maybe 3 miles from downtown to 3 miles to the east. And they're going to be calling it East River, and that whole area over there is going to look like another city center, which those of us that are not listening to it, you know what city center looks like.
I'm thinking about
it's huge.
How many city centers are we going to have? I mean, just think of it.
True.
And
Yeah.
it's exciting that they're reproducing these beautiful, because each one gets nicer as they go along. The city
Yes.
center, I was just at the town center in Sugar Land.
Yeah.
The Woodlands. I mean, they're all wonderful places to go, just even as destinations.
I know, and the bayou east of downtown, they're going to make it look like the Riverwalk in San Antonio.
Such
cool is that?
great idea.
Yeah.
Once again, Houston is a super exciting city now.
Absolutely.
And if we turn the clock ahead and envision what it's going to be like, it's going to be even more fun to be here and stay here. And guess what? I bet more people are coming in all the time, right?
All the time. Yep.
What about relocation? Do you have a feel for that? What's happening? We haven't talked about that in a long time. What are you seeing?
The way Compass is able to do relocation, we do agent to agent. We have a special website that we use. It's Facebook based. But if there's a person in California that wants to move to Houston and they know an agent, a Compass agent over there, all they do is put that they need a Houston realtor as a someone to work with here and as a referral. And immediately they've got a Compass agent calling them and helping them out. So we're very, very fast with relocation and very easy.
As far as activity, do you see that the relocation is still strong? What's your feel for that?
Oh yeah, I think there's a ton of people, and not just from other states, but we've got people moving in from the suburbs that,
That's
we
right.
got empty nesters that are still in their houses and they don't want to travel into downtown anymore. So I can't tell you how many people I've been helping with that as well. So it's just downtown-ish is really exploding still.
It's fascinating. So many things trigger a real estate transaction, right?
It's true.
People are moving in town,
Yeah.
out of town, all for different reasons.
All the time.
But you know what? Wherever they go, they're going to find a city center. I'm guessing. I'll put money on that. What do you say?
It's true.
So in the meantime, let's tell people, Darren, we're talking with Darren Morris with Compass. Darren, what else would you like people to know here as we close things out?
I know a lot of realtors listen to this as well, and we're constantly looking for new talent. If you're looking for a place to land with some good coaching, please call me.
It's a pilot, a former
Yeah.
pilot saying a place to land.
There you go.
Hey, I'm quick.
Yeah, and we're happy to do that too. And we're buyers and sellers. Give me a call. I'm sure you're going to ask my phone number. It's
Right.
281-788-2402.
His number is 281-788-2402. Put your seat backs and tray tables in the upright position.
There you go.
And give him a call at 281-788-2402. Thank you, Darren Morris. We're coming right back with even more. We're going to take off.
Yeah.
If you are a real estate professional, please listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, home buyers, sellers, and title agents, and their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your real estate business is properly insured. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. And welcome back, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. And now, Stewart Title, we have business development people all over Houston and beyond. And we have Michelle Racino. She is our business development officer, fairly new to Stewart Title in our Fort Bend 3 offices. That's right. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
It is super awesome. Nice to meet you about a month or so ago. Welcome to Stewart Title. But here you are in a supermarket. When we think about Fort Bend, let's tell people about the 3 offices that you are serving.
Okay, so I am a business development officer for Sugarland, Richmond, and Sienna Plantation. So in our Richmond office, we have Wendy. She's the branch manager. She's super awesome. And we have Caitlin in Sugarland and Kristen in Sienna Plantation.
And we think about the suburbs, and we'll call Sugarland, Katy. We talked about the Woodlands. Those are all suburbs, but there's so much activity, it seems, and the city is growing out in all these areas. Are you seeing a lot of activity in these offices?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Sugarland is really, really busy. But yeah, I definitely am, and I'm fairly new, as you've mentioned. So I have CE classes that I've been setting up, and we have, in every office, we have a CE class once a week. So that's something really exciting for the agents to look forward to. My biggest thing is education for the real estate agents.
And that's right. I'll remind people at this time, and that is not just in the 3 offices Michelle's talking about, but all over Houston, as we have, I don't know, maybe 18 business development people. I always say stay in touch. If you're a real estate professional, stay in touch with your business, your Stewart Title business development officer, because they have stuff going on all the time, educational things like you're talking about. And do you have any upcoming things that we should know about in particular as far as a class or 2?
Yeah.
You're saying every week though, right?
Yeah, so every week, but since I'm new, my first month in, I didn't do one every week this month, but on Halloween, we have a 1031 exchange class, which is kind of fun. So 1031 exchange.
Hey, wait a minute. That's like October 31, right?
Yes.
So 1031, they could come into the class.
They are. So we have a class in our Sugarland office, and the branch manager and another escrow and me were dressing up for Halloween, and there's going to be a contest, and the agents get to pick who has the best costume. So that's going to be really fun.
Well, unless it's a secret, do you know what you're going to be? What your outfit is?
I don't know yet.
Okay, so we're going to be thinking about that. So that sounds like fun. Is that
Yes.
class full yet?
No,
If
not yet.
someone wants to reach out to you for that class, what should they do?
They should call me.
That's a good idea. What's the number?
346-350-9756.
346-350-9756. And if you're driving right now, simply Google Stewart Title, Sugarland. Remember the name Michelle. Sign up for the class. And if you miss that class, you're going to be having subsequent classes.
Yeah, so we have
Indefinitely.
another class on November 7th. It's going to be at Berry Hill in Sugarland. It's a VA boot camp. It's a 3-hour CE, so that one is really nice.
A lot of great things coming up. As I say, wherever you are, just Google Stewart Title. If you're in the Woodlands, Google Stewart Title. Find out some of the great things going on. We have so many distinctions. Michelle, give us another idea of how you see the market, let's say, just with your gut feel by the end of the year. How do you see it happening? Is it going to still be busy?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's going to be, busy.
Prior to Stewart Title, give us an idea what you did. And you've done a few things.
I have. So when I was younger, I modeled for a while. Then I came into real estate. I started out working at Perry Homes. Then I became an account executive for Landmark Home Warranty. I was there for 5 years, and I just came on board to Stewart Title in September.
That's interesting. And I think the perspective, I too was at a home warranty company, believe it or not, before Stewart Title. I'm with Stewart now 6 years plus. In the meantime, I found in the home warranty world that calling on title companies was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very successful with that, thus.
Yeah. And that's why I'm here, because
That's why I'm
they
here.
recruited me from home warranty. One of my great friends recruited me from Stewart Title.
See that? There's a couple smart people out there, and they recruited you and I from the similar industry. It's great. So let's tell people, once again, Michelle, remind them of the 3 offices, because I know right now as people are driving around, they're thinking about buying, selling. Sometimes they say that they think that they don't have a say in which title company, but I know they want to close in one of your 3 locations. What should they do? Remind them of the 3 locations, and let's give them your phone number again.
So Sugarland, Richmond, and Sienna Plantation, and my phone number is 346-350-9756.
346-350-9756. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
And welcome to the team once again.
Thank you.
We're coming right back with even more real estate matters covering the Houston area and everywhere else. We always love to talk about insurance. He is here from Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett. John, welcome to the show.
Howdy, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Here we go, as always, marching along with super guests every week.
Absolutely. The show gets better and better.
I can't believe it. So let's tell people, we think about, we're here at the end of the year. I mean, I love this time of year for a million reasons, but from a business standpoint, it's time to reflect and plan. It always is, but especially this time of year. What do you think?
Especially this time of the year. So as a business leader, as a real estate broker, we're thinking about what were our successes for 2019. You know, where are the areas that we can have some opportunity for growth and improvement? You know, what are our goals for 2020? And as we do those reflections and we do those plannings, all I'm asking is that the broker include their evaluation of their current insurance plan as part of that evaluation and planning process.
That's a great idea. So, and the other thing we talked about many times is that cybersecurity. And then we're going to have a show. We'll remind people upcoming in a few weeks. We're going to have another edition. It'll be edition number 3 in cybersecurity. But when we plan, let's tell people, because you're a great planner, you have a journal, and you do a lot of things in a very methodical way. I know that. But what are some of the things that you do to plan in your business life and your career?
So from a personal perspective, I try to have an idea of what my objectives are for each day and what I want to accomplish. Be realistic in what there is out there to do so that I'm not trying to tackle the world. but what are the 3 to 5 things that are most important, both for me individually as well as for Stewart Insurance? What are the things that I've committed to Tom and the team to accomplish, and try to knock it out that way, and then make sure that the goals are specific and direct, and I've got a measurable at the end to see whether it was a win or a loss.
In fact, and you happen to be, for people that have not visited Stewart Insurance, you are in an environment that promotes that kind of thinking. In fact, as you walk through Stewart Insurance, there's reminders on the wall, certain mottos and things that help inspire that kind of goal-oriented thinking.
Absolutely. We have 5 guiding principles that we operate under. We have a vision and a mission that we operate under. We meet every morning at 8:30 as a team to go over, what are the objectives for the day, any challenges that are out there, any areas that people need assistance in. We have an end of the week associates meeting on Friday afternoon, where we review what was accomplished. We set aside specific objectives each week for the team to meet, and then at the end of the week, how did we do? Which ones are rolling over, which ones are completed. So it's very much of a goal-oriented, process, procedure-driven organization. And
that instills tremendous work, exceeding expectations when people call you. And I'll remind people, they hear the show, and it always comes back to me. If I call some kind of provider, some kind of service, and it seems to happen a couple times a month where I call, I get to recording, and that just goes back and forth. And it's mind-boggling. It takes 8 minutes sometimes to speak to a human being. At Stewart Insurance, a human being picks up the phone. They handle whatever you need right there.
Absolutely. More often than not, Myra will be the one that you'll visit with. I was interested to hear what Haley and Darren had to say about the use of the word client, that we're very much that way, that we purposely call the folks that we work with clients versus customers, because we feel like that customer is more of a transactional term, where client is much more of a relationship, intimate-driven term. So little things like that. I mean, we're very focused in the aspect that we're dealing with clients and we're not dealing with customers. So little things like that make a difference. The idea of planning to drive achievement. So have you planned? Are you having fun? Are you continuing through life learning? Are you taking the time to be the best that you can, but also win as a team? Ultimately what we want to be is the insurance resource for real estate.
In fact, the other thing that happens when you visit Stewart Insurance or go to your office or Tom's is that you are readers. And not only that, Tom Carpentier leads the company in a tremendous way,
yes.
24/7.
24/7.
Even when he sleeps.
Even when he sleeps.
So you go there. He always brings forth a book or two, gives it to the team.
Yep.
And just recently, as like a few days ago, I don't know what link I was on, but I started with Warren Buffett, and some of the things, I think the tagline was unbelievable things that you wouldn't believe about Warren Buffett that he does. One of the things he does, and other people, Elon Musk and others, they spend a certain amount of hours reading, even though they're super busy doing all these things. Reading still is one of the highest priorities for these individuals.
Absolutely. It's a matter of, going back to the continuing life learner. And that's one of the things that we look at for the associates to become part of our team is, are you a life learner, and can you share with us how you go about doing that? So as Tom likes to say, readers are leaders.
That's what I used to tell my son.
Absolutely.
And it works both ways. Leaders are readers.
So Tom always has a book going or two. He's always sharing us with new things to read. So it's important, because it's not only books about insurance, which we'll focus on, but also books about leadership, books about business, books about sales, books about marketing. So a lot of the things that established our culture have come from things that Tom and the team have read.
And John, before we close the segment out, what else would you like people to know?
Well, as we were talking about, Bill, as we come to the end of the year and begin planning, take a look at your insurance plan. What has changed in your business? Have you added employees? Have you grown your revenue? Do you have new locations? All those could affect your policy. Are you comfortable with the plan that you have? Have you changed some technology? Have you added technology? Again, all could affect the plans that you have and to make sure that you're properly covered. So we would ask that whether it be Stewart Insurance or whomever your insurance advisor is, that you make the time to have that conversation.
And you've used the term before, properly insured, so many times, and that's something to keep in mind. I don't think a lot of people do when they get the renewal for their home or their auto or whatever it is. Sometimes we don't. We just put the check in and say, oh, okay, it's done. Properly insured is the way to be insured.
Absolutely. I mean, all insurance comes down to is how much risk you're willing to take yourself versus how much risk you want to place on the insurance company. So are you willing? So as long as you know and you're comfortable with what that risk is and you're comfortable with what you're carrying, then you're properly insured. As long as you understand what the risk is and you're confident in that decision, then you're properly insured.
And if people want to reach out to you, they can call you at
866-798-2827. 866-798-2827.
My turn. 866-798-2827. Give them a call. Thank you, John, for being on the show. And now we're going to have Jay Shaw come back as we wind up the end of the show. Jay, hey, let's tell people once again, Shaw Real Estate, you're doing so many things incredibly well. Jay, once again, Marine, Purple Heart recipient. Thank you for your service, and everyone else out there listening. Real estate, here we are, planning, looking ahead, reflecting. That's done by successful people all the time. Give us your thoughts on that.
I really like what he said about focusing on the 3 to 5 things that he can accomplish that day. And in fact, Gary Keller, in his book, The One Thing, he talks about the one most important thing that can move you forward that day. And I use those principles each and every day. And I wanted to also, before we conclude, mention, again, the VA for veterans out there. The VA loan is still out there and still kicking. It's a great tool. And agents, if you're unaware of the details of the VA loan, she just mentioned a class. I recommend getting the second largest veteran population in the nation.
And I also like the way John was explaining. It reminds us to sometimes things look so overwhelming at whatever part of the year we are, putting things into bite-sized pieces, 3 to 5 things and that sort of thing. I think that's a great help for us all as we march forward, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Jay, let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
So it's jay@shawrealestate.com or my direct line, 281-546-9237.
Give us a word also. You mentioned earlier about property management. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there real quick.
Essentially taking the burden and risk off of landlords and putting it onto a property management company so that they can enjoy their income property without all of the problems.
Because a lot of people say they're ready to buy a new home, and some people say, well, I don't want to sell mine, I'll just rent it out. Mm-hmm. So they probably should call a company like yourself,
Absolutely.
a property management company.
We can easily do an analysis to see if it would cash flow, because if it cash flows, there's no reason to sell it. And many people, if they need those proceeds to purchase their new home, well, then, of course, that's another different story. But if they don't need the cash and the equity from their home and they can make it cash flow, then that goes on their balance sheet as an asset and provides monthly income.
Jay, the phone number again is
281-546-9237.
Super awesome. Thank you again for being on the show. Here she is, Haley Garcia. Haley, welcome back to the show.
Thank
wow,
you.
Such great ideas. And I know what you're saying as we talk about this, so many things we think about. Let's tell people before we leave the show, what else would you like them to know?
I really think, just based on what you just said about asking about the end of the year and the planning, I think it's really important to do. On my team, we do a 7 Boxes of Life planning day, and we do a vision board at the end of every year for the beginning of the new year. And we look at the areas of life and what are the 2 things that might be frustrating you, and then what are 2 tactical items you can do in the new year that will help you overcome those. So I would recommend everybody do that. It's fun and it's encouraging personally and professionally. So that would be my last piece.
Organized, simple. You're probably a very organized person. I'm just guessing.
In most areas of life.
In most of the quadrants and all that. And I don't have time to explain this. I don't know if you've heard of this, but this is something for the listeners to know about, and that is John Maxwell has tremendous business books, great leadership things.
Yes, he does.
One of his things that is so powerful is the Rule of 5. So those that don't know what that is, just Google that.
It's a great book.
You'll learn about the Rule of 5. Thank you, Haley. Let's tell people how they can reach out to you once again.
281-701-6174 is my direct number, or they can check out our website at haleygarciagroup.com.
And have you been in a plane with Darren yet?
I have not, but I have talked to him on the phone and
How
told
many
him
seats
to
are
hang
on
up and
that?
focus.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can all go together.
Let's go.
He's back, taking off. Darren Morris. Hey, Darren, real quick, let's tell people what else would you like them to know that we didn't hit.
Well, look, it's going to be 2020, a new decade, right?
That's right. 20.
Yeah, a whole new decade. And so I don't know about you, but I'm going to hit the ground running next year. Not that I'm running on it right now, but I am. But
You're not relaxing right now. We know that.
But 2020 is a good year to get busy and explode, and I think we're right on track to do that.
Well, Darren, also, let's tell people your phone number before we close out.
It's 281-788-2402.
And how many seats are in the plane again?
Well, 4.
So then that means you could take 3 of us with you
It's
on
true.
a trip.
Anywhere,
A little
yeah.
ride.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Well, we'll look forward to that. Give Darren a call at 281-788-2402. And now we get to talk very briefly to Christina Sacco, the individual who has done a tremendous job in the last couple of weeks and certainly today in putting tremendous guests together, assembling superior guests. Christina, how do you do it?
I don't know. It's just, you know what? The brain starts ticking of who's going to come on and who can also network with each other and who can also help each other if they might have a deal like Jay has multifamily. Well, Darren and Haley are talking about having real estate in the Heights market for those kind of properties. So it's all about bringing people together and working together.
It's
'Cause
like
real estate's a great big family.
It's like with a dinner, having the right wine, the right accompaniments, everything putting together in a harmonious way.
Absolutely. And that's the best part of the job, is bringing everyone together.
It is super awesome. Let's tell
Yes.
people you are developing business in a tremendous way right here in
Yes.
Houston, Stewart Fine Properties. How can they reach you?
713-325-1135. So please reach out to me, or you can email me at christina.sacco@stewart.com, and we look forward to working with you and your clients.
There you go, Christina Sacco, or Google Stewart Fine Properties. You'll see Christina right there. And should people be sad that the show is ending at the time of broadcast?
Because who knows who's going to be on next week?
That and the fact it never really ends because
Never
it is
ends.
in the cloud. It's all over the cloud. This is show 297, and you can go back to any and all shows at stewart.com/Houston. That's right, stewart.com/Houston. It's all there. Thank you, everyone, for being on the show. Anyone in the armed forces listening, thank you so much for your service, your continued service. And until next week, stewart.com/Houston. We'll see you then. Thank you.